Hey, what's going on, people? New video. Um, I've been thinking about making this one for a while, so I'll go straight to the point. I was watching a video, and the question asked in the video was, "Do girls give it up too easily these days?" And that made me wonder, because I always have these discussions with my friends, and I've had experience with women, and what I wondered is, what makes a hoe a hoe? Because the video was like how girls give it up too easily. And I thought to myself, every time I talk to women, women have different perspectives on what makes a girl easy. And I thought I should make a video on that. And also, I'd like to hear your input after the video is done. Um, essentially, the whole point of the video was like they were trying to say women should stop giving it up easily. And I thought to myself, do women really give it up easily these days? And I wondered what the reasons were. And I've come to some realizations. Sex is cheap these days, you know. So after the 70s with feminism and the sexual liberation, women were not held to the same standards that they were held to before. Therefore, um, a lot of women have taken that as an excuse to be irresponsible, saying that they're just expressing liberation, that they're being empowered. Which is funny because they are also the same women who judge other women who sleep around. But I'll get to that in a minute. Um, the thing we need to understand first is, for instance, what makes a girl a hoe? I don't like using the term hoe, but if you're one, you're one. Now, originally, a hoe comes from, it's supposed to mean whore, a woman who has sex for money. But over time, women have turned it into different meanings, and now it's used interchangeably with slut and skank for a woman who's loose. And I've heard many women complain that there's a double standard between men and women as far as how they are held to in regards to sexual behavior. And I believe the double standard is there for a reason. It's not a double standard if you think about it, because, like I said, women don't have to work to get laid. You know, men do. Men are expected to impress a woman well enough to gain sex out of it. Women are not held to those standards. All a woman has to do is look good. So women are expected to be more picky in their decisions. See, a man can be judged by the amount of women he's been with, whereas a woman is judged by the quality of men she is with. So there's a huge difference. Any woman can sleep around if she chooses to do that. Even average looking women can do it. It doesn't take much. But women are held, women don't look at that. They look at, oh, who's her man? What's he got? What's his status? That's what women look at. And that's the main difference. That's why there is a double standard. A good example I like to use, if a guy sleeps with 30 women, most of the time it means he went after 30 women and all of them gave him what he wanted. If a woman sleeps with 30 men, most of the time it means 30 guys came after her and she gave all of them what they wanted. You see where I'm going? See, the woman is expected to be picky because women by default are the people that men go after. Only, I mean, it's not always the case, but most of the time it is. So they're expected to be more responsible in their decisions because that's their body that they're giving away. They're giving something to a man when a man gets it. Whereas men are not like, held to that standard because it's not like, you know, I mean, unless they have money and status, they're not going to get women like that. They're supposed to go out of their way to get something. So that's where the double standard comes in. Um, so yeah, that being said, get asked, well, then what constitutes a hoe? Well, it depends on perspective. For instance, some women will sleep with half the basketball team, but will not sleep with a married man. Some women will have no problem sleeping with a married man, but they will not sleep with half the basketball team. And the thing is that uh, it's all mixed up. So you will see a lot of women who are really living that life, but they don't even admit it to themselves. Me personally, what do I believe? I believe that a hoe is a woman or a man even who uses sex not to have it as an intimate experience or even for fun, but to get a perceived gain, to gain some perceived sense of accomplishment, whether it's monetary gain or a self-esteem boost or as a way to feel wanted. They use sex as a way to compensate for a need, for another need that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with sex to begin with. I don't know if you guys are getting where I'm going with this. For instance, some women use their body as a way to get men and use sex as a way to get material things. That's the original definition of a whore, a prostitute. Now, some women use sex as a way to compensate for some emotional needs. Realistically, it's wrong. It's a sign that the person is suffering from a strong personality disorder, but because society has become so lax in its view of sex, a lot of women jump into it and fall into that lifestyle. So they use sex as a way to compensate for something that they're lacking elsewhere. Sometimes low self-esteem. Some girls think that they have to give out sex in order to get interest or to maintain interest or to get the attention they want because they don't feel that they are good enough on their own to just get it. So they develop the habit of going after guys and giving it up easily, thinking that they're getting appreciation in return because they're giving it up. It's not realistic, but a lot of girls fall into that because of low self-esteem and lack of self-worth. Um, Sometimes it's a combination. Sometimes they think that sex gives them power. They feel that because they're having sex with, this guy and that guy, and maybe they're having sex with the best basketball player on the team or a guy that has money, that makes them valuable. They feel that that makes them better than other people. Again, it's a form of compensation for low self-esteem, but it's not as desperate as the previous example. Actually, there's a name for that. It's called histrionic personality disorder. And basically, histrionic personality disorder uh, means someone who has low self-esteem and finds her identity through friends. She depends a lot on friends and uses sex as a way to feel good about herself. And these people are usually extremely promiscuous. And they're the girls that you could tell they've been around. And they've gotten so used to it because their actions and their behavior um, has become a pattern in their brain and has become what we call egosyntonic. Egosyntonic means even though it's wrong and they know it's wrong, to them it's okay because it's become appropriate in their mind. And a lot of girls subscribe to that because society no longer holds them to those standards. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to make a two-part video on this, so I'll make one right now. But essentially, to me, a hoe is anyone who uses sex and promiscuity as a way to compensate for other things that he or she feels they lack, whether it's money or self-esteem or even a sense of identity or even appreciation. Because ultimately, sex is just a physical act. There's nothing to it. You don't get anything or gain anything other than momentary pleasure. It's just a physical act. It doesn't mean you're loved. It doesn't mean you're wanted. And it doesn't necessarily mean you get money for it. But that's what a lot of girls and guys subscribe to these days. So I'm going to make a second video right now.